So in this awesome Feature Friday, we're going to take a look at some of the updates to the CXone Dashboard application. Now, this came into GA at the start of 2024, and it's a refresh, a complete refresh of the dashboard available to you in CXone. So a few things to note. At the moment, we're only looking at pretty much the widgets you would have had on your previous generation of dashboard. So if I go to add widget here, I'm just in my ACD. The majority of these haven't changed, although you'll notice there's a look and feel. The colors are a little bit sharper. However, what happens when we duplicate this and we start to look at some of the new things available? So if I change this to number 2, we'll create that. So what I'm going to do now is click on add widget, and you'll see there's a whole new area of metrics. So there are 3 metrics widgets you can utilize. There is the KPI widget, and I'm just going to bring these into the top, and then we'll make everything look nice afterwards. We have the metrics interval, and we have a metrics summary. As I say, I'm not going to win prizes for making this look good to start with. And you'll notice the moment you do these, they say select metric. Now, the KPI metric, you can have up to 8 different metrics showing. I'm just going to leave everything as default there, but I'm going to select my metric. Now, this is significant. We have our ACD. So these are your historical ACD. Every time I hover over one of these, you'll see it has some guidance as to what this is for. But look at just how many we've got here. Now, you can have 8 per KPI metric, but you can have multiple KPI metrics as well if you wanted to. We have some real time, so these might replace some of the ones that you've got already. We have coaching. I'm not going to touch on that at the moment. We have digital first. So if you've been trying to get some digital data into your dashboards, you now have that capability with a lot of data, and this seems to increase on a release by release basis as well. And if you're using CXone Guide, likewise quality management, this is increasing on a release by release basis. So I'm just going to go in with something that might be a like for like replacement. So let's have a look here. We've got our queue counter. We've got our agent state counter. So I'm going to select those from here instead. I'm going to search, and I'm going to go for agents available. And then I'm going to do my service level. And I can't remember, it was for queue counter, wasn't it? So we'll confirm those, save those, and then we see we've got these 3 here. Now I'm going to edit this, move it around as I want to. And when I go to this, I can decide if it's going to be horizontal or vertical. So I could go vertical instead. It will realign itself. And I am just going to hit on settings. I don't think this one has thresholds just yet, but it gives us stuff we can work with. And again, we could be using our teams, agents, campaigns, skills to chop this data down. And I could say, let's go to settings and call this KPI overall. And then I can just duplicate this. He says, there it goes down here. Let's move it up here now. And let's filter some of this data. So if I change that and take out, I do clear all and just do AllThingsCX, then I've got no data. Simple. So that's your KPI overall. Metrics summary. Again, we go in, we select our metric. So let's have a look here. Some are grayed out. Again, lots of data. I'm going to go with number of agents available. I've got 100 different metrics I can have here. Just because I have 100 doesn't mean I need to have 100, but I can bring that up. I can have a look at that. I can filter that if I want to. Let's do it by who's got more logged in, all that kind of good stuff. I can add more into here. Other thing we can start to do with this one, you see thresholds has now appeared. So we can decide agents available if there is 0 and up, and then we're going to go and 1, 2, 2. Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get the colors we want there, so I'm just going to do it with that way around. Maybe there's an issue with the logic just there. In fact, that's giving me everything in green. So potentially the wrong metric to be using that thresholding on. If we scroll down to our metrics interval, and again, select a metric, we can decide what we want to look at this for. We can include breakdowns, and again, just going to select what metric. Let's go handle time. Confirm that. And let's make that a little bit bigger, I think. So we've got a handle time over half-hourly periods, and we can decide if it's going to be table, if it's going to be chart. So there we go. I think we can do that on this one as well. Just go to a chart. You can see where we've had more people logged in on different skills. So more data in your hands. Again, widget display. If we go back to a table, that is when thresholds comes in. So you can't have a threshold when it's in a chart form. The other thing you could do is split this. Alternatively, you could, if you don't want them side by side like that, what we could do instead is, let me go back to the table and then duplicate it. So it's going to appear down here. What I would always recommend doing is getting the widgets as you want them and then start to organize them. And then we could do chart. So if you wanted them on top of each other, then you could do it this way. Perhaps you also want to just trim this down as well. We go to settings. We could decide when we want this to be displayed. So it's 2 a.m. to about 1 p.m. And there we go. So lots of information here. Again, if you are playing around with some of these settings, get it right and then start duplicating. Lots of things you can start to do. You can have as many of these as you want. You'll see actually in the bottom right, you can now have 20 widgets. So we could just fill this up with different KPIs. Let's add another one in here. In fact, what I'm going to do is just delete the old widgets. I'm going to select some metrics in here. I'm going to go with just some digital. And then it won't allow me to add any more at that time. So I'm just going to confirm that. We're going to save that. No idea what data that's going to throw. All zeros because it's a demo platform, and then we can decide how big we want that. We'll just do it like that. Just rename that digital KPIs. So that's our new dash. Again, we can click into this as well, and it will start to drill into the information for us if there is data available, which there isn't for that one. And then I can go into projection mode as well. So that's slightly different now. So I've got my two. Just thinking, actually, let's go into project dashboard. And I'm just going to add that -2 there. And I'm going to decide here now, this is the lowest you can go to is 20 seconds. So we'll do that. So you still need to be logged in. You still need to have an account to view a dashboard. There's not a URL for the dashboard just yet, but we can see here our more traditional data. And then in about 20 seconds, it is then going to roll over to our new dashboard. Formatting, again, not my forte here. Maybe you just need to make that a little bit smaller, but you get an idea of some of the new data and metrics that you can bring into this if you want to. So there you have it. New CXone dashboards, lots that you can do with them. The other thing you can do in manage is you can obviously favorite, which will make your life easier on projecting. One other thing you can do is you can click here, and then I think you can now do a sub click as well. You see that. So now it's going to order it by owner, then description, then last viewed. If you have lots of dashboards, that would be very, very handy. And that's something that is available throughout the suite. It's just a shift bar there. So there you go. Enjoy.